The latest Sweet Baby Inc. game on the block south of midnight has finally released, and while Xbox might be able to market this game to Game Pass users pretty well, it unfortunately doesn't look like it's going to have a super great time on Steam because the player counts are already abysmal, and they were over early access weekend, and people are roasting them on the forums. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, you would think that companies would learn Sweet Baby Inc. is a death touch to games. There are millions of gamers right now who are boycotting games that Sweet Baby Inc. is affiliated with, and similar narrative consultation companies. People are just sick and tired of individuals forcing their way into this industry and saying they know what is better, even though what they're really doing is altering works in a much more negative way. And South of Midnight is really no stranger to controversy. When it was originally announced, we had, I think, a lot of skepticism just because it looked like it was going to touch upon themes of like racism and whatnot. And that doesn't necessarily mean a project is going to fail, but when you hear that those themes are in a game and Sweet Baby Inc. is working on it, and you have developers that are a part of this project who say that they hate gamers, yeah, none of that really paints a very positive picture. So I've talked about this game only a couple of times on my channel so far, and none of those times have been very positive. Again, it has been steeped in controversy so far, and now that release is here, it's not looking like it's going to be a smashing success for Compulsion Games. So this game really came onto people's radars back in March of 2024 when Sweet Baby Inc. was being kind of investigated by gamers, and we found out that this community manager, Katie Robinson, claimed, "I hate gamers," after previously claiming white male gamers were a mistake. So we are just talking about a whole lot of hatred within the studio. It's not really shocking that it's coming from a community manager, given they typically are the most toxic people that are a part of projects, but is brought to public attention by an ex-user, Screamer RSA, and further highlighted by Mark Kern. Robinson announced that she was the community manager for Compulsion Games back in September of 2023. So like these posts had already been made. They knew who they were hiring to be a part of this team, and well, it doesn't look like they really cared, or more so, they agreed with her sentiments, because on Instagram she wrote, "I'm happy and proud to announce that I've joined the amazing team at Xbox's very own Compulsion Games as their new community manager. After spending 9+ years in the gaming space as a content creator, I'm excited to begin my journey and make an impact on the other side of the industry." But as for her posts about gamers, those were found very quickly because she had written in February of 2024, "Honestly, I hate gamers." This is a very normal response coming from people within the industry as in regards to Gamergate, to or just the culture war in general. These people cannot accept the fact that gamers are willing to speak up for themselves. They are willing to vote with their wallets. They are willing to boycott projects if it comes down to that. And instead of just saying, "Listen, I completely understand not every project is going to be for everybody, and there are going to be people that disagree, just voice your opinions in a respectful way." No, it's just, "I hate gamers." And honestly, white male gamers were a mistake. And Compulsion Games, of course, is a company that is for revisionist history. They are for censorship. They are for silencing people. Back when the Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered collection was coming out, Compulsion Games had actually supported Crystal Dynamics' trigger warning, saying that this was actually great. Many video games are a product of the times they were created in. As we look to recreate and remaster these stories for modern audiences, it's important to consider the implications of these harmful portrayals and do our part to rewrite new history, not repeat it. It's so funny that they can't even get it right. It's either rewrite history or write new history. You can't rewrite new history. These people are absolutely brain dead. But I mean, it's just word vomit here. Modern audiences recreating, rewriting new history, not repeating. I mean, they definitely were chasing after that modern audience that over the past year to 2 years, we've definitely learned does not really exist. But now that it's time for their game to come out, there are people who are clearly avoiding it because it is Sweet Baby Inc., and there are people who are just not purchasing it. So keep in mind, this is a day one Game Pass launch. So I am sure that there are going to be a lot of people that play it that way. I am one of them because I do typically try to live stream the games that I talk about because sometimes I'm wrong. I'm a human being. And then other times I can just highlight it for you guys so you don't end up swiping your credit card. I'm playing it through Game Pass, so I'm not monetarily supporting them. But developers still need sales outside of subscription services because they're not making any money off of these downloads. They need you to go and swipe your credit card on a standard edition of a game. And this is not a full $70 experience. It's actually only $40 for the base edition and it's $50 for the premium edition. But I don't think that that price tag is even really going to help them, which is crazy because gamers are willing to spend a lot of money on a really good looking experience, but I don't think that's going to be the case here, given so far on release day, it is sitting at 863 players. And sure, it is a Tuesday afternoon. It's on release day. Maybe over the next couple of days, these numbers will skyrocket, but I just highly doubt it. We should already see a couple thousand, maybe even like 10,000 people in game for a title that was marketed from Microsoft, right? Like you would think that it would already be doing better, but it's at a measly 863 players. And over the past couple of days, it's not like it was much better because there was the like early access period, or I believe they called it the advanced access period. As you can see, the highest that it ever got to was 566 players. So it's not like it's bringing in thousands upon thousands of people instantly. And these are pretty in line with several other Sweet Baby slash just modern audience games that have released over the past year. Here's Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. The all-time peak was at release 648 players. We found out that this game underperformed. Only 23 in game right now, which hey, story games come and go. People play them, they then drop them, and they only come back when there's like a lot of DLC releasing. None of these games got DLC, or if they got DLC, it didn't bring more players in. Though in the case of Flintlock, 648 was the best they could muster. Unknown Nine Awakening, a game that Bandai Namco thought was going to be massive, 285, which is just so hilarious. Bandai Namco went out of their way to buy Reflector Entertainment for this, the same way that Sony went out of their way to buy Firewalk for Concord. They thought that this was going to be a massive new IP. They had Yennefer's actress from the Witcher TV series. They thought it was going to be a big people in game right now. 285 all-time peak on Steam. Abysmal. Even look at something like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I don't think that South of Midnight's even going to hit these numbers, but the all-time peak was 14 months ago. At release, 13,459. We are talking about the Arkhamverse here. We're talking about Rocksteady, iconic, legendary studio. We're talking about Warner Brothers games. That is the best that they could muster. And I can't say I'm all that shocked. When the content you're putting into your game is trash, these are the numbers you should ultimately expect. And maybe South of Midnight will end up being at least a fun experience. Maybe it will be a decent experience, but I think a lot of people are going to avoid it because of the controversial statements that were made by the community manager and the way that the developers have acted. We do not know for sure who is running the general discussions Steam forums, but they are silencing people left, right, and center. As you can see, an hour ago, they were going down it, trying to silence people. Who's the target audience for this game? Wondering if my daughter would like to play this, but can't find much info. Thoughts? And there were a couple people talking about Sweet Baby Inc. Silenced. Thread locked. Prediction. I predict roughly 5K max concurrent players for this game. Leave your prediction below. I initially, like 2 weeks ago, had said that my prediction was around 5K. I don't know if that's going to happen now that we're at release day and it's less than 1,000 people. Maybe it will end up slowly but surely going up, but 5K was around my prediction. Though, as you can see, they are not afraid to silence people. Is this Xbox's version of Forspoken, or is the writing any better? Instant locked. Not even any responses on this before it ended up being shut down. They just don't want people to be discussing their game in any way that could be construed as negative. So, yeah, I mean, right now, gamers are also on social media, kind of pointing and laughing, which, by the way, this is being pointed out, the sweet baby credits, Chris Kindred's name is here as the scriptwriter. Now, as far as we are aware, Chris Kindred ended up being fired several months ago, or they left as they claimed. So maybe this was just like last year or the year before they helped on it and their name is here. Maybe they didn't end up getting fired, or maybe they didn't end up quitting, though this has led to a lot of gamers just kind of pointing and laughing like this is the best you could muster. But it's a sweet baby ink game involved, so there's not going to be a lot of people who are going to monetarily support you. So I will be keeping my eye on this game over the next few days, and I will be live streaming it tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, giving it a shot. Apparently, it's really short. It's like 8 hours, so we should be able to finish it in like 2 streams. But so far, things are not looking so positive for Xbox Game Studios and Compulsion Games. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.